Recording.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the very first session of our Masterclass, the 7 Steps to Create Impact. The first session is called Evaluate Your Mindset. I'm Antonio Owens, and today we're diving deep into one of the most crucial factors in your personal and professional growth, and that's mindset. Now, I'm sure you've heard the phrase, mindset is everything. And while that can sound a little cliche, it's true. The way you approach challenges, opportunities, and even everyday life depends on your mindset. There are 4 main types of mindsets that I want to break down for you. And understanding where you currently stand is the first step to transformation. So those 4 steps, if you're taking notes, there's 4 steps. There's 4 types of mindsets. Number 1 is the strong growth mindset. Number 2 is the growth mindset with some fixed ideas. Number 3 is the fixed mindset with some growth ideas. And number 4, strong fixed mindset. That is the stubborn person. So I'm going to go through each one of them individually. Okay. So let's work. I'm going to go through 4, 3, 2, 1. So the first one I'm going to talk about is the strong fixed mindset. A strong fixed mindset believes that everything is static. Your intelligence, your abilities and talents are fixed and they cannot be changed. Again, somebody who's very stubborn. They don't want to grow. They have no desire to grow because they believe where they are is where they can't achieve anything else. This mindset resists change and avoids challenges because failure is seen as a reflection of inadequacy. People with this mindset often give up when they encounter obstacles, thinking, I'll never be good at this, so why even try? Those are the people with strong fixed mindsets. The next one is fixed mindset with growth ideas. So someone with a fixed mindset with growth ideas tends to believe that their basic abilities and intelligence are set, but they might hold a few growth ideas in specific areas. Maybe you believe you can improve your skills at work, but you think your personal traits like creativity or leadership are set in stone. This person's progress is often slow because they're focused on maintaining what they have rather than expanding. I struggle with this immensely, especially when I becoming a husband or even in ministry, where I knew what I knew. I understood there was more that I didn't know, but I just thought that what I knew was enough. And if I perfected what I knew, everything else would come. When in reality, I needed to acquire more skills. I needed to acquire more knowledge. You're here because you understand you need to acquire, you're expanding. So if you're in this session, you are not in neither of the last 2 categories. You don't have a strong fixed mindset and you do not have a fixed mindset with some growth ideas because you understand you are here in this masterclass because you want to expand. The next session, mindset is a growth mindset with some fixed ideas. A growth mindset with some fixed ideas. This mindset is mostly growth oriented, but there are some areas where fixed ideas creep in. You may believe in growth, but occasionally you catch yourself thinking, I'll never be good at this, or that's just not who I am. These limiting beliefs can hold you back from reaching your full potential. So it is always, again, we've all been there, right? Where you're making progress and then you hit an obstacle. And you almost reflect of a time where you failed, right? Where you're doing something new. It is a challenge. It is difficult. But then suddenly you remember of a time where you did fail when you tried. And that oftentimes keeps you from reaching your full potential. So if you're on here and you've been through that, this is where you belong. Because I want to tell you the number 1 mindset you need to have, and that is a strong growth mindset. So I mentioned the other ones. This is the one I really want to expand on in this session, right? You need to have a strong growth mindset. This mindset believes that your abilities, intelligence, and talents can always be developed with effort, learning, and persistence. All right. This is almost like expanding your capacity, right? People with a strong growth mindset see challenges as opportunities to grow. They understand that failure isn't final, it's just feedback to help them improve. I'm going to say that again. I need you to write that down. With a strong growth mindset, you understand that failure is not final. It's just feedback to help me improve. This is where we all want to be. This is all where we need to be. Right? So there's a lot of us who a lot of us have growth mindset with some fixed ideas. That's where the limiting beliefs come from. The imposter syndrome comes from, right? A lot of us get stuck there. But this is where, and again, I'm a pastor, so I have to talk. I talk like this because this is in me. This is where I have to speak faith to push past my own limiting beliefs, my own limiting perceptions. Because the Bible has told me that I can do exceedingly abundantly above all. God can do exceedingly abundantly above all I can ask or think. And then Jesus said, as he was getting ready to ascend to heaven, he said, greater works shall we do on the earth. So if I am expected by God to do greater, because greater is he that's in me than he that is in the world. Greatness is expected out of me. So I can't allow limiting beliefs, false identity to control or dictate how far I can go. Because why? I always have a strong growth mindset. I'm always looking at feedback to improve. So why do you need a strong growth mindset? Right? Because your mindset affects everything. How you respond to failure, how you approach new opportunities, and how you grow into the person you were meant to be. Right? So here's the thing. If you don't believe you can grow, you won't. If you do not believe you can grow, you will not. Even for me, as a husband, there was a season I accepted that I could not grow in the capacity that my wife needed me to. I accepted that. And guess what? Because I accepted that mindset, things didn't get better. The fights got stronger. But I had to change my mindset, right? So if you don't believe you can grow, you will not grow. A fixed mindset will stop you from taking the necessary steps to reach your full potential. But with a growth mindset, you can view challenges not as threats, but as invitations to grow stronger. You become resilient, adaptable, innovative. You start seeing possibilities where others see limitations. And everybody wants to surround themselves or be around innovators, visionaries, people who are resilient. Those are the type of people companies want to hire. Those are the types of people who have the best friends. Those are the type of people who, even in dry seasons, are able to prosper. Why? Because they're always trying to find ways to be resilient. They're always adaptable and they're always innovative. Okay? So that's the importance of why you need to have a strong growth mindset. All right. So here's some practical ways to shift. All right. So you may be asking yourself, how do I develop that strong growth mindset? Here are a few key steps. All right. Number one, you need to embrace challenges. You need to embrace challenges. Maybe even get a jigsaw puzzle or even a crossword. Allow it to be common for you to deal with challenges in your life. Now, there are challenges that come to develop you, and there are challenges that come to hinder you. A crossword puzzle, a jigsaw puzzle, that comes to develop you, right? Because that requires resilience, that requires you to be adaptable, that requires you to see things in new lights. Those are challenges that you should embrace because they develop the mind. So you got to stop avoiding what's difficult. See it as a way to stretch and grow. You are capable of so much more than you think, but you can only grow if you embrace it. So let's say you embrace a challenge and then you don't succeed in the challenge you thought. Guess what? Learn from failure. This is the second key. You want to learn from failure. Failure is a teacher, not an endpoint. Failure is a teacher, not an endpoint. Every time you fail, you gain knowledge and wisdom that will help you move forward. So I must learn from failure. That means I need to take time to reflect in my failure. Every day, I take time to reflect. How was I as a husband? How was I as a director? How was I as a leader? How was I as a teacher today? Where did I fail? I write it down and I say, how can I make sure not to fail this way tomorrow? So that's how you learn from your failure. Number 3, you want to focus on the process, not just the results. Okay? You want to focus on the process, not just the result. Instead of worrying about perfection, commit to improvement. Each day, aim to be better than you were the day before. There we go. That talking about reflection. Each day, learn to be better. Aim to be better than you were the day before. I say learn. A lot of people say aim, but I believe you can learn to be better than tomorrow than you were the day before. But that comes with reflection. That comes with note taking, being intentional. Growth doesn't just happen by accident. Growth happens intentional. All right. And then the last key. So these are a couple of keys on how to shift towards a growth mindset. Number 1, embrace challenges. Number 2, learn from failure. Number 3, focus on the process, not just the results. And number 4, celebrate effort. I think we don't do this enough. I don't think people do this enough. Celebrate the effort. Recognize that effort is what leads to growth. Celebrate the work you put in, not just the outcome. Because if you only focus on the results, you'll never fully embrace how you've grown getting to the result. And so the result will happen and you don't appreciate it as fully as you should. All right. So here's the challenge for this. Here's the challenge for the day. All right. I want to challenge you today to evaluate your mindset. Get a notebook, get a journal. And I want you to take time to write out these 4 categories. All right. Write each one out. And I want you to ask yourself these questions. Where do I have a growth mindset? When I say where, it could be think about where you are financially. Think about where you are as it concerns your career, where you are as it concerns being a husband, a wife, a mother. Literally pick out different areas of your life and ask yourself, do I have a growth mindset concerning that matter? Do you have a growth mindset concerning being a husband? Do I have a growth mindset concerning being a business owner? Do I have a growth mindset concerning being a director? Right? So we're going to ask ourselves, where do I have a growth mindset? This is good to write down. The next question you're going to ask yourself is, where are my fixed ideas holding me back? We're going to shed light on that thing. Where are my fixed ideas holding me back? And then number 3, we are going to ask, what areas do I need to shift to a stronger growth mindset? I know for me, one area that I've been working on is shifting to a stronger growth mindset as it concerns the realm of finances. I need to shift towards a stronger growth mindset. Not saying what I can't do, but speaking faith. For those of you who are believers, who are Christians, find scriptures that speak for what your mind often speaks against. Like I said, scripture I quote all the time. The blessing of the Lord maketh rich, adds to it no sorrow. That means if God has a blessing for my life, it will come with no sorrow because it's the blessing of the Lord. That's God's word, and God has to keep his word. So every time I start thinking negatively, thinking about, oh, this may not work, this is a lot of stress, I speak the word. The Bible talks about casting down every thought of the imagination that exalts itself higher than the knowledge of God. This is a blessing from God. It's going to make it rich. This is going to be this is going to prosper. It's going to make me rich, and it's not going to add any sorrow. How do I know that? Because God said it in his word. So I want you to start paying attention to how you approach challenges. And when you catch yourself thinking in a fixed way, pause, reframe, and ask, how can I grow from this? So this has been a great session. That's it for today's session on Evaluate Your Mindset. Remember, growth is not automatic, it's intentional. And it always starts with believing that you can change and improve. I'll see you in the next session where we'll talk about identifying your unique gifts and talents. Until then, I'll keep challenging. Until then, keep challenging yourself to grow.